Why are there so many wildfires on the west coast of the United States? Nearly 90 large wildfires continue to rage and scorch millions of acres in parts of Northern California and Oregon as fire crews brace for weather conditions that could make their jobs tougher. In this video, we go over why there are so many wildfires on the west coast of the United States. Welcome to Trending's Finest, where we give you the hottest updates on the world's most viral news, videos, and stories in the most exciting format. Click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to not miss a single beat of the world's pulse. Nearly 100 wildfires raged in the West over the weekend as high winds and dry conditions were expected to fan some of the fast-moving blazes in the coming days in states reeling from a death toll of at least 35 and still struggling for resources. Find out the real reasons behind this peculiar phenomenon in today's video, including the latest updates on this blazing hot issue. Millions of acres in the western United States continue to burn as a result of nearly 90 large wildfires. There are 87 active large fires that have burned more than 4.6 million acres in 10 states, according to the National Interagency Fire Center, NIFC, with California bearing the brunt of the burnt flora and fauna with at least 25 fires. Direct causes. As evidenced by the current situation, wildfires can burn millions of acres of land at shockingly fast speeds, consuming everything in their paths. These rolling flames travel up to 14 miles per hour, which converts to about a 4-minute mile pace, and can overtake the average human in minutes. By the end of June, the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection had responded to nearly double the number of fires than it had in all of 2019. Though they are classified by the Environmental Protection Agency as natural disasters, only 10 to 15% of wildfires occur on their own in nature. The other 85 to 90% result from human causes, including unattended camp and debris fires, equipment use and malfunctions, negligently discarded cigarettes, and intentional acts of arson, according to 2000 to 2017 data based on Wildland Fire Management Information, WFMI, and U.S. Forest Service Research Data Archive. Naturally occurring wildfires can spark during dry weather and droughts. In these conditions, normally green vegetation can convert to bone-dry, flammable fuel, strong winds spread fire quickly, and warm temperatures encourage combustion. With these ingredients, the only thing missing is a spark, in the form of lightning, arson, a downed power line, or a burning campfire or cigarette to wreak havoc. There's also the less likely cause of nature starting wildfires with unusually long-lasting hot lightning bolts. Lightning has two components: leaders and strokes. The leader is the probing feelers sent from the cloud. The return streaks of light are a series of strokes that produce the actual lightning bolt or flash that we see. There are two types of lightning: cold lightning and hot lightning. Cold lightning is a return stroke with intense electrical current, but of relatively short duration. Hot lightning has currents with less voltage, but these occur for a longer period of time. Fires are usually started by unusually long-lasting hot lightning bolts. Winds are often the decisive factor between fires that can be controlled and those that move with such ferocity and speed that the best the authorities can do is move people out of the way. Ryan Walbron of the National Weather Service said that winds generated from a slow-moving storm system off the coast of Oregon were expected to last most of the week and blow at 15 to 30 miles per hour. The winds could have the beneficial effect of clearing some of the toxic smoke haze covering the atmosphere from Los Angeles to Seattle, but for firefighters, the shift in winds represents a 180-degree change in direction in many areas, threatening their progress in containing the fire. The arrival of these stronger winds tested the resolve of fire crews already exhausted by weeks of combating blazes that have consumed around 5 million acres of desiccated forests, incinerated numerous communities, and created what in many places was measured as the worst air quality on the planet. The National Weather Service issued a red flag warning because of the prospect of windy and dry weather in southern Oregon and nearby counties in California. Ryan Walbron, a fire weather meteorologist with the National Weather Service, hit the fiery nail on the head when he said there's just so much fire and so much smoke. The fire triangle. Natural or man-made, three conditions known as the fire triangle set off a burning wildfire: fuel, oxygen, and a heat source. Fuel is any flammable material surrounding a fire, including trees, grasses, brush, even homes. The greater an area's fuel load, the more intense the fire is likely to be. The most wildfire-prone state is California, which lost 259,148 acres of land to 8,194 wildfires in 2019. Air supplies the oxygen a fire needs to burn. West Coast wildfires are often made worse by the hot, dry winds, which can carry a spark for miles. Heat sources help spark the wildfire and bring fuel to temperatures hot enough to ignite. Lightning, burning campfires or cigarettes, and even the sun can all provide sufficient heat to spark a wildfire. Stay tuned to see the bigger reason behind the devastating inferno ravaging through our forests, and more importantly, what to do yourself when faced with a blazing forest fire. The global picture of global warming. As the West burns, there's no doubt among scientists about the role that climate change is playing in the size and intensity of the fires. Philip B. Duffy, a climate scientist who's president of the Woodwell Climate Research Center, explained that fundamentally the science is very, very simple. Warmer and drier conditions create drier fuel. What would have been a fire easily extinguished now just grows very quickly and becomes out of control. In 2001, a team of international scientists projected that during the next 100 years, the planet's inhabitants would witness higher maximum temperatures, more hot days and heat waves, an increase in the risk of forest fires, and substantially degraded air quality in large metropolitan areas as a result of climate change. In just the past month, nearly 2 decades after the third United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report was issued, heat records were broken across the West Coast. Millions of acres of land burned, and in major metropolitan areas, air pollution has skyrocketed. The nation, along with the globe, is being pushed to extremes, and the record heat, fires, and pollution all have one thing in common: they were made worse by climate change. Their convergence is perhaps the strongest signal yet that the calamity climate scientists have warned of for years isn't far off in the future. It's here today and can no longer be ignored. That's why it's crucial to know what to do before, during, and after a wildfire, especially for people on the West Coast. What to do in a wildfire? Wildfires devastate anything in their path. While they aren't difficult to stop, there are many steps people can take to limit their damage. Before. If you know a wildfire is traveling towards your area, the best thing to do is leave immediately. If you live in a fire-prone area, it's best to prepare for that course of action ahead of time. Have an evacuation plan in mind and a go bag with emergency supplies already packed during fire season. Keep brush, weeds, and other potential fuels trimmed back on your property, especially around your home. Put away grills, propane tanks, and other flammable materials that may be in your yard. Close all doors and windows and fill sinks, tubs, and other containers with water to discourage fire. Shut off natural gas, propane, or fuel oil supplies. When you purchase a home in a wildfire-prone area, try to avoid neighborhoods on slopes that are steep or barren of vegetation, suggests the California Chaparral Institute. Although some people fear that houses near shrubs are more likely to burn, that's not necessarily the case, the Institute says. Rather, a landscape without vegetation can be the perfect runway for winds to bring embers, which are one of the biggest threats to homes during a wildfire. Wetting your roof may help the risk of airborne embers catching, says the California Chaparral Institute. In fact, some people in fire-prone areas even install rooftop sprinklers for that purpose. If you can't leave as fire approaches, dial 911. Then don a face mask, or better, an N95 respirator to help reduce smoke and particle inhalation. During. If you can still leave, leave. Listen for emergency alerts. If you cannot leave, stay inside. Go to the safest building or room with the lowest smoke levels. Crouch low for the best air. If you don't have a mask, breathe through a wet cloth. If you're caught outside, try to find a body of water to crouch in. If you can't, find a depression with the least vegetation and lie low, covering yourself with wet blankets, clothes, or soil if possible. After. Do not return until instructed to do so. Listen to authorities before drinking water from the area. Avoid items that are hot, smoky, or charred. Text friends and family, but don't call. Lines may be busy. Wear a dust mask and document property damage. Beware of the risk of flooding since trees and protective vegetation might have been removed, exposing loose soil. Yes, we know what you may be thinking. All this in the middle of a global pandemic? And yes, we know what you may be thinking. All this in the middle of a global pandemic? Tell us more about your thoughts on the matter in the comments down below so we can talk about it some more. To learn more about the fierce world of nature, check out the latest discovery about the fossil that reveals an animal with a bite force 2 times stronger than Tyrannosaurus rex. We go over the fascinating find, the helpless creatures the giant eats, and the scary limb-tearing death roll maneuver this massive beast was capable of. So keep watching. Thank you for watching. This is Trending's Finest. Always the trendiest, always the finest.